What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Going for Two. I am your host, Keywan Humphreys, and it is finally over. It is finally over, y'all. The Jimmy Butler drama, the Jimmy Butler Miami Heat saga is finally over. Earlier tonight, a trade was announced by Shams Charania, and he's a Warrior now. You know, Jimmy Butler's going from the East Coast to the West Coast in a trade that included 5 teams. That was, it was very confusing, but I'm gonna take my shot at trying to break it down for y'all. So basically, the Golden State Warriors received Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat received Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, and a protected first-round draft pick. The Detroit Pistons received Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson was on the Miami Heat. The Toronto Raptors received Carl Anderson. Now, the weird thing with Carl Anderson is something went down with that deal and it kind of fell through. So he's actually going to be on the Miami Heat for now. The Miami Heat are going to hold on to him, but I assume they're going to either buy him out or trade him. There is no way to me that he plays a game in the Miami Heat uniform. And the Utah Jazz, the final team part of this big transaction, received Dennis Schroeder. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Golden State Warriors because that's the big team that we that we're talking about right now. They received the big fish. They received Jimmy Butler. Now the Warriors, I'm really happy that they made this trade because I believe Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have done a terrible job of giving Steph one last chance. Every other superstar pretty much in the NBA has had somebody be added to their team. And I know they got Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield's not no superstar. You got Giannis getting game. LeBron just got Luka Doncic the other day. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday. Every other team, every other superstar was making moves except for the Golden State Warriors. And I think it finally hit them. Okay, we're losing games. This depth, this strength in numbers stuff that we were running back in 2015 up until 2022, really, it's not having the same effect no more. It's not having the same effect. So let's go ahead and get a star. And they go out and get Jimmy Butler. Now, they do lose Andrew Wiggins, but they're getting Jimmy Butler, I would say one of the best 20 players in the league. Now, when I say 20, I don't necessarily mean he's number 20, but I that's the range I see him in. I see him in the range of that 10 to 20 range as far as best players in the world when he's playing consistently and playing like he really cares about basketball. Jimmy Butler is responsible for 7 of the Miami Heat's best playoff performances, according to an article made by Bleacher Report. Think about that. Jimmy Butler has the most great playoff performances from a franchise that had Shaquille O'Neal, a franchise that had LeBron James, and a franchise that had Dwayne Wade. Jimmy Butler is the one that has the best playoff performances. Now, think about that, and think about who you're putting them beside. You're putting them beside Steph Curry. Now, I know Steph Curry hasn't had the best season, per se, so far this year, but Steph Curry's a guy that if he gets hot, if he gets rolling, if he starts clicking at the right time, if his team starts clicking at the right time, they can make a run. We saw it in 2021 when they won the championship. The Warriors were not the best team that year, but they got hot. Steph got hot. The guys around them got hot. And that led to them riding that heat wave, no pun intended, riding that wave to an NBA championship. And I think adding a Jimmy Butler, who I just said is one of the greatest playoff performers, one of the best playoff performers we've seen ever, and he's one of the best playoff performers we have in the game now. You put him beside Steph Curry. This could be magical. This could be crazy. And the crazy thing about this Jimmy Butler situation is that he's been blocking trades he blocked the trade to the Warriors. He was blocking it. He told the Heat, he told teams that, hey, if you trade for me, I'm not signing an extension. So you're gonna have me for half a season, that I'm gonna go where I want to go. He's been trying to get to the Suns hard. Earlier today, news dropped and reports came in that if Jimmy Butler ended up on the Heat, it would. I mean, if Jimmy Butler ended up on the Suns, it would be for Kevin Durant. And I think that kind of he kind of turned that off. Like, okay, I don't want to. If I'm gonna go to the Suns, I want to be there with KD, not be swapped for KD. So he gets to the Warriors and he instantly signs an extension. The man instantly signed a 2-year, $121 million extension with the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors got him for 2 years. You're going to see what this big three of Steph, Dre, and Jimmy going to do for 2 years. They have a shot. Because you look at where they are in the standings now. My thing failed. You look at where they are in the standings right now. They're 25-24. They're playing right now against the Utah Jazz. They should beat the Jazz. They're 25-24, currently 10th in the Western Conference. But the thing is, they're only 5 games back of the 5th seed. That's how tight this Western Conference is. So the Warriors, with the rejuvenated, because he's been sitting, so he's fresh. A fresh Jimmy Butler. A Steph Curry that he hasn't loved the game too much lately. But a Steph Curry that's ready to make a run. If they can run off 5, 6, 7, 8 straight games, they could easily be in that top 5, top 4. Because I think the fourth seed's only 6 games ahead of them, or 5 games ahead of them. So the West being so close, like the Warriors started out great, and that may have been their saving grace because they've lost a lot of games recently, but they're still in the hunt. And then you make a move like this to get better. Excuse me. You make a move like this to get better. That just makes the hunt that much more exciting for the Golden State Warriors. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Now, they did lose Wiggins. They lost Wiggins, lost Dennis Schroeder, and lost Carl Anderson in this trade. Now, Carl Anderson, I don't think he was playing too much anyways, so I'm not really worried about that. They made a trade earlier this year to get Dennis Schroeder. They wanted to use him as a secondary ball handler, a secondary facilitator. They wanted to run him and Steph, to have Steph run around the court and just Dennis Schroeder just dime him up. But it just has not looked like that since he's been on the team. So him being gone is not a big loss either. Now, Andrew Wiggins is the piece that I would say makes the Warriors wince a little bit, like, oh, man. Wiggins was their stopper, and he's really been their, I would say, second best player this season. Wiggins had played a key part in their 2022 championship run. And, he's looked, he had a down year last season and the year after that. And the year before that, I'm sorry. But this season, he's looked pretty good to me. He's looked pretty good to me. So I think him going over to the Heat is a good addition to them. But for the Warriors, hey, we got Jimmy Butler for Andrew Wiggins and 2 guys that we really don't even want like that. I'm taking that as a win. Because like I said earlier, you have to show direction. Either you're gonna let Steph ride off into the sunset, or you're going to compete. And this trade right here is a move showing Steph Curry that, okay, Steph, we're going to compete. We're going to try and get one more championship out of you and out of this dynasty that we have built. Moving on to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, I just talked about, they got Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, a protected first-round pick, and Carl Anderson for right now. PJ Tucker, he loved being. He was on the Miami Heat a couple years ago. You can tell that he's the essence of Heat culture. He hasn't really played too much this season or last season at all. But I think him coming, he's a guy that, you put him in that corner, you used to have him play defense. That's a good addition to this Miami Heat team. Andrew Wiggins, I like this move because this is another wing defender that you can put on the court for this plethora of wings that they have. Not necessarily the best guys, but they're good role pieces, and that's where Andrew Wiggins is. He's gonna come in, he's gonna defend, he's gonna contribute on the offensive end. So I like this move for the Miami Heat as well. They're currently 25-24 as well. They're 6th in the East. So I think the big thing with the Miami Heat is not necessarily what they gained, but what they lost. Yes, they lost Jimmy Butler, but they also lost all the drama that comes with that. I believe if you're a teammate of Jimmy Butler, if you were a teammate on this Miami Heat team, you were exhausted with the drama. You were exhausted with not knowing whether your best player, whether your leader was going to be playing tonight. You were exhausted with him not coming to team meetings and team practices and missing flights. You were exhausted with that. But now with him gone, you can focus on strictly basketball. And the Miami Heat have been a pleasant surprise. A pleasant surprise. Without Jimmy, if you told me Jimmy Butler wouldn't play most of the season, there's no way I would believe they're a 6th seed, even with how bad the East is. But they're a 6th seed and they have a chance to go up potentially a couple more seeds. They're not going to catch Boston or Cleveland. but they may be able to get up to that fourth or fifth or third seed possibly. But we're going to have to see. The other teams in this deal didn't really get too much. Josh Richardson going to the Detroit Pistons. I mean, I guess, he's not really too crazy to me. He may play a little bit, but they have plenty of guys. They have plenty of guys of the same archetype that he has. Utah Jazz, they kind of, Danny Ainge, he's, if there's a trade going down, the Jazz are in the trade. That's just the way it looks right now. But that's all I got for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for these trade deadline videos, man, I'm just going to do a quick drop. We ain't going to do too much editing. We're just going to do a quick drop, get them out to y'all as soon as possible. But until next time, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share with y'all folks. Going for 2. We out of here. Yeah.